but the air, it's usually cool, crisp. It's not too cold, not too hot. You get to see all the different colors, like the true colors of the world, the plants. And in spring, you get to see things bloom and blossom and grow. But I wanted to talk about trauma. One of my biggest challenges is the trauma in my life, like that I had growing up, and my response due to my trauma. Growing up in a household where there was a lot of division and fighting, it really plays, it has an impact on your life, and it's really caused me to not like conflict and to take any disagreement, anything that's not what I feel is, I don't want to say correct, but I guess correct, but anything that feels like a disagreement, a disconnect, to me feels like conflict. It creates that anxiety. It creates that turmoil internally where I'm second guessing. Because I try to be, as a Sagittarius, just a person in general, but a Sagittarius, we can be very blunt. We can be very straight to the point. I don't give a shit if you like what I have to say, but you're going to hear what I have to say. And I try to kind of bellow that out in a way where I'm not so harsh. I can be when I get upset, but I try not to be. And even then, now being an adult, I try to internally fix that. And so I'm always overlooking the way I react, or I should say overlooking. I'm overanalyzing the way that I react. I give grace to people, but a lot of the times I give too much grace to people, or I shouldn't say give too much grace. I don't separate grace, reason from excuse. That just because you understand what someone is going through and you understand the reasoning behind someone, that's wonderful, that's great. But that doesn't give them the excuse to step over your boundaries. What about your own grace? What about, we're all going through something. We all have that internal battle in our lives. So it's great to understand that, but don't put yourself in a place where you are caring about everyone else but yourself. That is what I struggle with. I know it. I know it. But following it is a whole different story. Practicing it is very challenging because it goes back to the trauma of things that have happened. And into fear of abandonment. I'm an only child, and the things that happened and in my life, and I was so close to my family growing up, my cousins, and that changed, and it's always been a subconscious fear of abandonment. Like, I have to be this way so I'm not abandoned. And it's taking a long time to realize that. To understand it. And I will say, for me personally, looking at my birth chart has helped me. I believe in forces and different things, and I believe that everything is connected. And I believe in astrology, and other people don't, and of course, that's fine. But for me, it helps me to break things down in a way that I can put two and two together and have an aha. So that explains this. And not that everything needs to be explained, but in some sense it helps me that things are understood in a certain way. Like, that's how I unravel things. But the fear of abandonment, the fear of not speaking up, not being who I am because of the fear of not being liked and people leaving me. And I have stuck around in situations because I did not want to be alone. And that not only hurts yourself, but it hurts the people as well. If it's people. But it hurts all parties involved. It could be a job. I'm stuck around in some jobs that wasn't a good place for me. But at the same time, it happened, so it was supposed to happen. It was there to teach me in some form, some matter. But yeah, it's interesting with trauma that things can affect people in many different ways. Me and someone else can go through the same exact thing growing up and can have different outcomes, different trauma, and some things can cause trauma in people and not the other person. And what's really interesting is, I think that's why I like Harry Potter so much, because the similarities of Harry and Voldemort. Is it Tom Riddle? I forget his name. I think it's Tom Riddle. And then, Harry and Neville, like the chosen one, and Harry and Voldemort having similarities, and the differences. Harry was surrounded by friends and people that loved him. He was shown love. Even, what happened to his parents. That mother's love. And it's just interesting do shadow work regardless, but and a lot of people, I don't think, understand exactly what shadow work is, because the way my brain works, I can take things very literal to the point where the simplest thing, like jokes, I don't always get. And I would think that you have to do something a certain way, like shadow work. Like, what does that mean? Like, you have to do this, you have to do that. You don't, like, some people say that you have to find your inner child and connect with them and walk with them. You see yourself walk with them, like, and talk with them. And I think that's wonderful. And I have even tried that. But there's no one way. There's no, right or wrong way to do your internal work. It's going within yourself and finding out about yourself. You have two sides. You can have multiple sides. There's that, light, dark aspects that's what we call it anyways. And we've been taught that dark is automatically bad and should be cast out. But it's a part of us. It's like our emotions. Anger is automatically seen to be, you should let go of anger. You should release that. You shouldn't be angry. But anger teaches us. It tells us. It tells us something. We get angry for a reason. Something that we feel is not right. Someone is treating us a certain way. We get angry, and that teaches us something. That tells us something, but we don't know how to use that anger. We lash out instead of harnessing that anger and learning why we're angry. Same with your shadow side. We don't understand why it's there, what it's teaching us. I love the story that a lot of people give, that when you're in your mother's womb, it's darkness. And you grow while you're in darkness. And the same thing with plants. We'll see during the soil, they're in darkness, and they grow, and they reach for the light. And that's such a beautiful concept. And just because we have this dark side, doesn't mean that we are bad people, that we are dark people. We have two sides of us for a reason, just like our ego and our higher self. I think they're both there for a reason. I don't think we can cast out our ego. It's there to assist us while we're on this plane. We just don't understand it. We've been conditioned in such a way that we don't understand it, and it speaks in a certain way because of the conditioning, the trauma. But this is already a very long all go through this beautiful, beautiful journey of life with ups and downs, and a lot of us seem and feel like we're always in the down, like we're upside down, and we feel like we're in a place where we can't get out of this hole. And we all, our reactions that we have are based off of the traumas that we had, especially as children. And I'm not here to tell you that everything will be okay. I believe that everything will. But I can't tell you that. You have to believe that. You have to believe that in yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone tells you. If you don't believe it, it's just all washed up words. The only thing that I can say is to hang in there, because there's a reason. There's a reason to why things are the way they are. And it's very hard to see that reason when you can't see far in front of you. But if you keep taking those steps, eventually you'll get to that point in time. But thanks for listening. Hopefully you find some encouragement today. Toodle doodles.